Hello, everyone, and welcome to Live at the Frontline with Joe Pasillo. Just had to go online because we need to talk about what's happening right now. I am beside myself. I'm trying not to be angry, but I am beside myself that Brett Kavanaugh, this is the article that I read, this is where I got it from, an armed man, according to John Nolte in Breitbart, an armed man arrested who, quote, wanted to kill Brett Kavanaugh over abortion. So let's stop there. I'm only going to take a couple minutes of your time, okay? This man wants to kill a Supreme Court justice because that Supreme Court justice wants to stop babies from being slaughtered in the womb. That's what we're dealing with now, okay? You have the Democrat Party isn't going to say a word about this. You remember from a few years ago, I bring it up on the show all the time at the Frontline with Joe and Joe. They're not going to say a word. They watched Steve Scalise and other people get shot. They didn't. Nobody apologized. Okay, nobody said anything about the shooter. Nobody's going to say anything about this creep either. All right, all because Roe versus Wade is going to get overturned, and that doesn't even make abortion illegal in America. It just gives it back to the states. If you want to kill your babies in California and New York and New Jersey and about half the rest of the country, you could probably do it. Okay, and the rest of the country in Texas and Alabama and other places, Jeff Bezos will pay for your abortion. But I want to tell you something. We've been saying, Joe and I, on the show for a long time. Our view is abortion on one level, since 1973, since it was legalized, is the left's way of saying, look at what we are willing to do to unborn babies. Think about what we'll do to you. That's why they want they want abortion, because they want to show you and rub in your face. We kill babies. We'll chop your head off. We don't care. And let me tell you something. This idea that there were conservatives, I've said a million times, remember something, the scorpion stings. It's in its nature. The Democrats aren't going to say anything about this. It's in their nature, okay? If the conservatives do not do something to censure Chuck Schumer, I'm not voting anymore. I'm not voting for a conservative in Arizona. I'm not voting for a conservative anywhere. If they do not censure Chuck Schumer, read his words into the U.S. Senate record, and have him thrown out of the Senate, then they're not doing their job. Then they're just a bunch of good old boys club with a couple of differences. Okay, but at the end of the day, they're not going to do anything about anything. Chuck Schumer stood on the steps of the Supreme Court and said, you will reap the whirlwind, Kavanaugh. You will reap the whirlwind, Gorsuch. He said, you don't know what'll hit you. You will pay the price. Here's a gunman on Brett Kavanaugh's street. Getting ready, he had burglar tools to get into Brett Kavanaugh's house. He would have killed his whole family. And the left isn't going to say anything. Chuck Schumer needs to be held accountable. If you want a silver lining in any of this, Chuck Schumer needs to be held accountable and thrown out of the United States Senate. I don't care if they get somebody more liberal from New York to take his place. He needs to be made a lesson of. He stood on the steps of the Supreme Court and threatened a Supreme Court justice, saying, you'll pay the price. This guy, this gunman from California, was willing to make sure that he follows through on Chuck Schumer's threat. Chuck Schumer needs to be thrown out of the Senate. Point blank, period. That's it. That's it. And that's all I want to say about this. Okay, more than anything else. Everybody out there knows the report. Everybody's seen the report. Okay, at the end of the day, this guy got arrested. Thank God. Kavanaugh's safe. Thank God. His family's safe. Thank God. For now. Until the next psychopath that listened to Chuck Schumer, the next crazy who thinks it's more important to make sure we could kill babies legally in this country than anything else. Till the next crazy steps up and tries to do it again. But did you hear what I say? The next psychopath that's taking Chuck Schumer's advice. Chuck Schumer needs to be kicked out of the United States Senate. We all need to write our senators, okay, and say, we need you to act against Chuck Schumer. He basically committed treason. He threatened a couple of Supreme Court justices with violence on the steps of the Supreme Court. And he said, I'm from Brooklyn. That's how I talk. Thanks for joining me here at Live at the Frontline with Joe Pasillo. Our conversation is your conversation, and that conversation is going on everywhere. Write your senator. Chuck Schumer, you're gone.